Greetings, Society. I'm out here today to work on this piece. I actually started working on this yesterday. This is the header panel for the Jeep. You know, the grill and the headlights go. This got pretty damaged last time when I was in Death Valley. So I went on the interwebs and looked for a new piece. And the aftermarket does make these, probably injection molded plastic. And they're not too expensive. They're like $100, but I figured if I could fix this and I get another year or so out of it, why spend $100 if I don't have to? So let me bring you in here close and I'll show you what I've done so far, what was broken and what I fixed and how I fix it, and what I need to do yet before I can put this back on the vehicle. So you have these mounting points. This mounts to the front of the fender, and then you have, where did it go? It's over here someplace. It's on the floor here somewhere. Here it is. You know, this bolt here that's molded into the plastic, that goes there. It goes there. And you got these, this one and this one, which are still good. This one was broken off, and that one's missing, as well as this one. So these two, I'm going to have to build stands using fiberglass. These other ones I'm going to try to fix. Now, I've repaired this once before, because this is a known issue with these as they get old. They crack. Especially here in the front, the top, you know, where it meets the hood. You just slam the hood and everything gets jarred, and, you know, drive on rough roads, and the front end just gets beat on these things. So they eventually break. So last time, well, actually it was a couple years ago when the piston skirt broke and I had this whole front end apart. I came in here with some 2-part epoxy and tried to repair it using 2-part epoxy, like this piece here. That epoxy doesn't perform well when it's cold. I mean, it worked for a couple of years, but this epoxy ends up getting very brittle. It loses its adhesion qualities. Let me pull this apart and I'll show you what I'm doing. Oh, this one I epoxied in and it's still holding up. This one I epoxied in and it's still holding up. Basically, I just took some aluminum tape and I made a dam and I filled this up. They could have made this all the way up to the bolt and kind of just tied this all in, but they didn't. You can see through that epoxy. If they'd have made the plastic that tall, these probably would be just fine. But they didn't, so they don't. Now I'm missing these two, so I'm going to have to build something here. This piece broke out and was still bolted to the vehicle. And you can see there was a crack here, and you can see there was a crack. This was broken in a few pieces, and I just plastic welded that together. Same thing here, plastic welded this back together, and then you can see I came on the inside and same thing there. So I gotta fix this so I can put it back on the vehicle, and once it's back on the vehicle, I can put my headlights and stuff back in. I can start driving it again. know how well that's going to work. That's just a piece of Kydex. Maybe I'll get some more and double it up, but I've got that plastic welded in. If you can't see it because the lighting sucks in here. And I got that one in.
Tomorrow.
This boss were disconjoined from this piece. They were broke off. And I took a little bit of time and I managed to plastic weld these back into place just using a soldering iron and melting the plastic back together. And then I took a piece of Kydex and built a bridge between the front, the top here, and the standoff. And then I took this thick zip tie here and I used that as filler rod and welded that in both here and here. This one and this one. I don't remember if these were broken. I think these were not broken, and I preemptively filled this gap between here and the standoff to strengthen it. And this is where they break. They break down here because there's nothing in between here. There's no webbing to support the standoff to the unit. It's just supported here, and over time this plastic is brittle and it breaks. As you can see here, this is what unmaintained roads in Death Valley will do to your plastic header panel on a Jeep XJ that's 20 plus years old. What I'm left with here is what's left of the standoff, and you can see this part right here is the only part of the standoff, which is roughly 1.5 inches tall, that's connected to the header panel. This fastener goes all the way through to here, so it's not unsupported, but this is the weak point, and that's where it snaps off. So I've got about 1/4 inch of hole exposed here, so at least I have kind of a reference point to locate this. And then this one's about 1/8 inch. I went down to Tractor Supply and I got a 1-inch poly spacer out of their hardware bins, and I've threaded this 1/4 and have 1.5 inch 1/4 bolt. I need to cut 1/4 inch off of this, and once I do that, I'll thread this in so it's, so I have 1/4 inch sticking out. But before I do that, I'll go over here to my parts bin. So I'll take this looks like it's probably 3/4. Yep, 3/4 inch 1/4 bolt, and I'll weld them together head to head. And then that should give me the 1.5 inch I need to stand off. First things third, you need to cut 1/4 inch off of this unit. So here's a trick. If you're going to cut a bolt, thread a nut on it first and put the nut on past where you're going to cut it. And then when you cut it, you take the nut off. That should clear the burr off enough for you to get the nut back on, or you can dress that with a file or with a grinder to dress the burr, and then this will kind of clean the threads out as you take the nut out. The nut will also clear the threads that got boogered from the vice grips. Let's check the fit. Is this the one I threaded? Nope, this is the one I threaded. That's why it won't go in. Here's my setup. I left a little gap between the two heads so I can get some good penetration. And let's see if I can do this without messing it up. Turn the welder on. Probably would help if I plugged the damn thing in. Plug this one. There we go. Contact. Welded. Mucho caliente. All right, there's that. There's these. This one. I guess now, test fit it. There we go. Okay. Those fit. You just whack that with a hammer. So I can always whack it back. Perfect. There we go. Goes in there. That's good. That's good. That's good. I can probably whack that with a hammer. Get that tight. That'll work. These will all work. There. Perfect.
Tomorrow for sure.
Good morning. Well, here's my repair. I ran out of resin. I just elected to not do that one, but I wrapped each one of these in its own little protective covering, this blanket. It's warm and cozy blanket of fiberglass and fiberglass resin. Cleaned all the threads. I think I'm ready to put it on. So why don't we do that? Oh, it's cold out here today. I need more jackets. Son of a biscuit. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Lord Almighty. There we go. Okay. got everything tightened down. Let's see how it fits now. Not too bad. Still a little bit low, but like it's got a crack right here. This re-cracked when I tightened that down, so that's gonna have to get probably reinforced with fiberglass if I decide to do that. You can see it's cracked right here where one of those things are at, one of those standoffs. That's usually the first indication that things are going awry, is that you get cracks on the outside. So when I do my Raptor liner paint job, I might end up replacing this, or at the very least I'll pull it back off and make some more repairs. You can see right here I got a little bit warm with the soldering iron and that sagged. I could use filler on that. Got some screw stuck on there. Anyway, I'll put the grill and the bezels back in, get the headlights back in, these screwed back in, call it a day. Well, there you have it. That's how I fixed my header panel. Comment down in the comment section if your header panel looks like this. I sure hope it doesn't. So if you found this video informative and entertaining, smash the like button, share it with the vast social media network. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider doing so. And if you do, click all the buttons and the bells and all the things. Comment in the comment section if you're so inclined. That feeds the algorithm. Check the links in the description for any of the products that you've seen featured in any of these videos. PayPal if you want to throw me a couple bucks. Patreon if you want to subscribe on a monthly. And if you go down there underneath this window, there's a little $ thing where you can donate and support the channel directly through the tubes of you. Consider doing that. If you can afford to do that, thanks in advance. If you can't, we're probably cousins. So until next time, you have fun, stay safe, shoot straight, keep powder dry, have a splendid day. Thanks so much for watching. And I'll see you next time. Send heat. Just a little bit, not too much. Just a little bit. All right, bye.